like yesterday, we go to Publix.
Yeah.
We get a grocery cart full of groceries. Come home. Reed walks in. I'm looking at all the groceries in the back seat, and I think it's just years of evolution. I don't know what it is, where like I look at the grocery bags, I'm like, how many groceries can I carry in at once?
It's life's little challenges.
It really, but it is.
It's a challenge.
It is.
Like you're counting groceries on each arm to make sure that it's equally
No, I'm not even doing that. I'm seeing how many groceries. I'm like a closet of groceries.
Like this.
Like I'm walking in there like the kid from the Christmas story, but I can't not do it.
You're not making 2 trips.
No, if I make
failure.
Yeah, if I make 2 trips, then I failed. I failed everybody. I failed the animals that live with us. I failed Reed.
Someone like if you
John.
make 2 trips, it gets to the point where someone out there is better than me at carrying in groceries, and I can't accept
Yeah.
Well, you have all the bags, but then someone also got like the sleeve of Coke cans.
Yeah, or the 12 Gatorades that are in that. Like the one that always throws me off is the milk. I'm like, because I've got to carry the milk. I got to put my hands in the handle of the milk jug.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can't just do it like, oh, hey, here we go. Here's the cheese and
You got to
stuff.
double bag it. You got to double
Got
bag
to double bag it. The two.
But you don't have to do that.
I try and carry all the groceries in, and then whenever I going to the grocery store while you're hungry is the biggest mistake. It's the biggest mistake ever.
Well, especially if you're like somewhat carrying the groceries in front of a crowd or more than 2 people.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't care.
You pull up to the party.
Groceries.
You got to set the tone when you get out of the
Veins
car.
are popping.
Yeah.
Blaine, you all right? Good.
It looks
Good.
like the last leg of one of those World's Strongest Man competitions, like the look on their face, like when they're carrying the boulder.
You're weirdly looking at somebody, the eye contact, or will you please open the door, but you can't say it.
Yeah.
But you just need it to be open.
Exactly.
A real
right.
thing.
That is a real thing. Number 11, Tennessee hosts number 20, Florida this weekend. We're going to break down our top 10 college football power rankings with Brandon Marcello. And Draymond Green says NBA owners should vote on Robert Sarver's future. I'm Jake Crane. It's Wednesday. Welcome to Crane & Company. There are few fan bases as loyal as the Tennessee Volunteers followers. Without much hardware to note since 1998, they've still supported by land and sea. Shout out to the Vol Navy. They've kissed many frogs that have never turned into their true prince. But every Saturday they were there, hoping and wishing. Now look, they're 1-16 in their last 17 outings against SEC East foe Florida. And don't get me started on their record against Alabama lately. But battling through the Kiffin departure, Butch Jones tearing down the program brick by brick, and Jeremy Pruitt selling double cheeseburgers with extra cheese, Tennessee looked like they were lost in the darkness. But enter athletic director Danny White, who hired Josh Heupel from UCF under an NCAA cloud, and it seemed like Tennessee was going to be left adrift forever. And Heupel was just a stopgap to the guy who would eventually bring the Vols back to the spotlight. But as it turns out so far, Heupel might be the prince they've been waiting for. Tennessee's off to an undefeated start. They have a quarterback in Hendon Hooker who's operating Heupel's NASCAR-paced offense at a very high efficiency rate. And they've added much-needed depth on the defense to be able to not fall off a cliff at the end of games. Tennessee is actually ahead of schedule. And the numbers don't lie either. They rank number 2 nationally in points per game offensively, while checking in at number 14 defensively. They're top 10 in points per play and yards per game. They're 100% in scoring efficiency in the red zone, while they're top 30 in red zone defense. Add all that up, and Tennessee's just good where it counts, on the scoreboard and in the red zone. Now, outside of the numbers, the feel when Tennessee plays doesn't feel like they just hope to win anymore, but they expect it. Long story short, the false hope is gone, and the high expectations are actually attainable. Now, the season is still young, and many things can happen. But after dispatching a good Pitt team on the road, a win against Florida at home would be another step back to prominence for the Vols. Tennessee seems to not only be back, but it looks like they're here to stay. Speaking about here to stay, David Cohn, my co-host, former Michigan quarterback, Blaine Crane, my brother, former Western Colorado wide receiver. Guys, listen, I know it's still early, but watching Tennessee, the things you see there now, and it's wholesome. It's not just the football team. Stability. Danny White has come in there and brought stability to a place that lacked stability for a very long time. And the team, they look more balanced this year. They have a very similar identity. It seems like he's got the culture where he needs it. And my biggest question with Heupel was running that style of offense, going that fast. With the thin numbers they had on defense last year, you kind of saw it, especially at the end of games, them struggle on defense because they were tired, especially if the offense wasn't just operating perfectly in the first half. It seems like they found somewhat of a balance between that fast-paced offense and being able to stop people defensively. You do look at against the run. I wish they were a little more solid, but this Tennessee team looks for real, David.
Yeah, no, and I'm so glad you pointed out the athletic department writ large, because the baseball team, look, I mean, we know they came up short of going to Omaha, but that program
Future's
in
bright.
the right direction. I had Tennessee winning the March Madness in the NCAA tournament. They won the SEC tournament. The entire athletic department is headed in the right direction. It feels good for Tennessee fans for the Josh Heupel hire to be right. You know, like after all that this program has gone through, for that hire to finally get one right, for him to be headed in the right direction, and also to be interesting on offense. Like, it's electric. It's fun to watch. It's not like you're having to look around the rest of the country or even the rest of the conference at other offenses who are innovative and who are having success. Now you're like, no, we're doing that too. And I think that they are getting the defensive side of the football right. And here's the next 3 games stretch here, Jake. Florida, LSU, and Bama.
Yeah.
Florida, LSU,
all
and
three
Bama.
winnable games.
Well, yeah, okay.
Well, they do get Bama at home. Like I said, I think they got a lot better chance to beat Bama at home than Georgia on the road. I'll continue to say that. But Blaine, you know, when I look at Tennessee and we look at recruiting, right? We talked about, like yesterday, I led off the show with talent. It beats play calling. I'd rather have a ton of talent and have a guy that calls plays normally than have no talent, have a guy that's got witchcraft and wizardry his way to move things. It's like recruiting in basketball. Guys want to play offensively for a team that runs. You know, transition's a lot more fun in basketball. Let's get it, let's run. Let's get in transition, whether it's a steal, even off a make, let's get it back in bounds and let's get running. Tennessee is kind of, like Cone was saying, separated themselves in a league where it's hard to separate yourself without being gimmicky. That offense doesn't look gimmicky to me anymore.
No, I mean, Heupel's got it down to a T, and Hendon Hooker's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to look when he started starting, I mean, the guy's thrown almost like 30 touchdowns.
He hadn't thrown an interception all year.
No interceptions. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And it looks comfortable, and they believe. And it's a sexy offense. It really is. From a guy being a receiver, I would love to go play in this offense. Yeah. And, Jake, what was always your biggest question about Tennessee? It wasn't the offense, but if it was the tempo of the offense affecting
how it affects the defense.
The defense, and the defense has somewhat showed up this year. And these next 3 games will be interesting. I think they're a better team than Florida. I think they're a better team than LSU. And I think this will be their best chance this year to beat an Alabama team that's extremely good, but still has some question marks. I had Tennessee being the 3rd best team in the SEC. It's still early. I still want to see them against Arkansas. I feel like those teams are more equal than the Kentuckys. I still don't believe in the Kentucky offense as much as a lot of people. But Arkansas and Tennessee are in that same realm right now. LSU is coming on. But Tennessee can make some noise in this conference. They're not better in Georgia, but nobody is. But these next 3 games are extremely winnable for the Tennessee Volunteers.
As winnable as they've ever been. And speaking about realm, if you're in the realm of sports betting, you like to bet in general, you need to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Trust me on this one. There's a lot. Speaking about, frogs turning into princes, there's only one that's the true prince. That's DraftKings. That's who we use. That's who the Booster Club uses. They do an unbelievable job of giving you not only early lines, but good lines, the team props, the player props, the same game parlays, and the promos are what does it for me. I love it, whether it's the automatic, hey, if you take this team money line, if they're up 7 at any point in time in the game, you automatically win your bet, regardless if they win or lose. That's probably my favorite addition that they've had. But Cone, you're a connoisseur of betting now with the Booster Club, and you've been pretty happy with DraftKings.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. The lines are out early, first of all, is what I really like. And then, like you were talking about, the same game parlays, it makes things interesting when I need to come back and win a month, on a long shot bet there.
That's exactly
it. Hasn't really worked out for me, but DraftKings has it.
That's a good. Blaine, as somebody who took a few shots in the dark and hit a couple.
I did. I mean, it feels great. One thing I love about DraftKings is live betting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of my favorite things to do. I mean, I love, especially being a former coach, like you get to see a game, and once it gets into a game, you kind of get to feel how it's going to go. So live betting's huge. You said early bet props, early game lines, prop bets. It's everything you want in a sportsbook, and it's a sportsbook you can trust. And that's what makes it great.
Well, just like when they put out the line that was plus 13.5 UCLA, they let me keep it before they changed it. So go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code BOOSTER, that's BOOSTER, to get $200 in free bets instantly when you just place a $5 bet on any football game. It's that easy. That's code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right, guys. It's Wednesday. We got Get Off My Lawn later. But I'm going to go to the Booster Club before we get to 5 big questions, Cone. Blaine, what's going on?
Let's go to Emmanuel C. And yes, Booster Club, I shaved my beard.
He did.
Thank you. $12 donation from the one and only Emmanuel C. He says, will Brock Bowers in the 2024 NFL Draft be a number 1, number 2, or number 3 pick overall? Higher than Kyle Pitts? Bar setter for tight end at 4 overall?
I would take Brock Bowers over Kyle Pitts. I think he's a better player.
Hands
and can
down.
do more thing. I tell you what, you look at the Mayer kid from Notre Dame as well. That offense isn't great because they really don't have a quarterback, but that dude's a baller. Like, he's nice. He's like somebody that goes to the Bills, you know, and ends up balling. That's what I see with like Mayer. But with Brock, I wouldn't go number 1 pick. A lot of times that's going to go to a quarterback or some defensive end that's an absolute alien. He's going to be a top 5 pick, though. Somebody's going to take him top 5. Again, when you look at a skill set, I always say the 2 hardest things to find in football to me are a tight end that can do both, that is an effective blocker in line, effective blocker outside, and can catch passes and run routes. Those guys don't really exist that much. And then on the defensive side, what is the tight end of the defense? It's the nickel. That's what it is. You got to be able to defend the run and man up and guard the slot.
Yeah.
Dax Hill from Michigan, great example. It's harder to find those guys, but that's just how it is in life. It's harder to find people that are great at multiple things within one profession or one thing you need them to
Jabril Peppers, too, was one of the best I've ever seen do it. And then on top of that, returning punts and kicks. And that's the thing I think about when I think of Brock Bowers is the versatility. You know, not only doing everything you're talking about.
He can play running back.
Like, what Cooper Kupp on the jet sweep helped the Rams win the Super Bowl last year, right?
Best.
You can give Brock Bowers a jet sweep and go get you a 4th and 1.
That's exactly.
You know, like the ways that Georgia's finding to use this kid and the NFL teams are going to find to use his skill set. I'm just excited to watch his future.
Yeah, we talk about calling plays and stuff. Todd Monken looks like a genius. Well, give me the cats that he's rolling out there. What did you say
That's what my
about
buddy
the
Nick,
zone read? Say that again.
My buddy Nick was coaching at Tennessee, and he says, I'm calling the same zone read that Alabama's calling, but theirs looks a lot different.
Yeah.
It's so true, though. What else from the Boost Club, Blaine?
We have Peter's ear removal service.
Okay. Ear removal service?
Wow, this is a real reservoir.
That is a very
reservoir
narrow
dog situation.
Wow, that's interesting.
All right, hashtag Ask Crane and Company. Who's less real, the Arkansas Razorbacks or NC State?
I'm going to say NC State. I know Arkansas has some problems in the secondary, okay?
Not good.
I get it. I think they're going to be able to fix it, though. I trust Barry Odom. Look, Barry Odom, especially when he got there, has done more with less than a lot of people. So the roster's in a lot better situation than it was. I know losing Catalan for the year, which seems like we say that every year, was devastating for him, but I think they'll figure it out. Here's my thing with NC State. They don't look explosive on offense.
No.
The secondary is elite. We said that coming in. The secondary is really nice from NC State. But offensively, Devin Leary, they're just kind of white bread, man. Vanilla ice cream, peanut butter and jelly. They have good backs, but when I watch NC State play, they're not as explosive as you need to beat Clemson. Hell, Cone, I don't think they're explosive enough to beat Wake or possibly North Carolina. Because North Carolina.
At this point, I'm looking at the Syracuse game.
It's amazing.
I'm looking at the Syracuse game now. Devin Leary throws the prettiest ball in the country, and I've said that, and I think he's going to be a great NFL quarterback. He is a great college quarterback, but you said it right. They're not explosive enough from what we expected from NC State. So in this scenario, I feel like right now you have to take Arkansas. Even if NC State were to end up having a better season because of the schedule Arkansas plays, I think right now you'd have to take Arkansas.
I think you would. Neutral side, I'm taking Arkansas. I'm probably taking the under, to be honest with you. But Blaine, with NC State, and we know a lot of people were gassing them up early, and look, they're still undefeated. All right, they haven't lost a game.
Yeah.
But they just don't look like a team to me right now that is going to be able to compete at the highest level and even if they were to make the playoff, do anything when they get there. I mean, if they were to play Clemson, I don't think they score over 10 points against Clemson right now.
I can see 14, but Devin Leary right now doesn't look like the same guy Devin Leary was last year.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know if play calling's changed, personnel's changed.
Well,
personnel changed, but the play calling looks a little conservative. You go back to that ECU game, it felt somewhat conservative. So I feel maybe once the season gets going a little bit more and he starts opening it up and really trusting Devin. Devin, looks like there's nothing holding Devin back last year. Devin was just out there playing football. Right, and you saw this year, he's thinking about it, maybe thinking about it twice, maybe I should do this, do that. Once he gets comfortable, I think they'll be fine. But that defense for NC State's for real.
No, those
guys can play. They're good enough to take him to the playoff and maybe win a playoff game. But if Devin Leary doesn't turn into Devin Leary this year like he was last year, they're not going to beat the teams they're supposed to beat.
And the schedule's there for them.
For sure.
They're tough road ahead. They're going to get their chance to prove and keep this train going.
We're going to know.
Which that's one of the things I was going to ask you guys about Tennessee. We're talking about, what's the ceiling? It clearly right now we kind of have them slated as that third best team in the SEC. And then, hey, go see what you can do against Georgia. See what you can do against Bama. They've blown out Akron team. They've blown out, who else? Ball State. The win on the road at Pittsburgh in overtime.
That's how I know. That's because, look, Pitt's a good team.
Yeah.
Like Pitt's, they're good up front.
But
that's what I wanted to see.
What do you think the floor possibly is for Tennessee? Like, what would make us, throughout this SEC schedule for Tennessee, say, man, they had everything going and the momentum and the nice road win on the road at Pitt, but this was kind of a disappointing season.
That's what I was just about to say.
Florida.
Look, Florida's had your number, man. We know it. You can look at it. They know the numbers. Florida knows the numbers. This is the game. Is Florida a great football team? No. Can Anthony Richardson go off at any point in time and just freak out for 4 quarters? Yes. But this one is more like for an optics win for me. You know what I'm saying? Tennessee is the better team and they should win. I'm not saying this game day is going there. There's just a lot that's going on for Tennessee. And this to me seems like somewhat of a hurdle that you get over to get to the final hurdle. What's the final hurdle? Bama. But Blaine, let's go through Tennessee's schedule real quick. Let's pull that up because I had them going.
Right here.
I had them going 5-3 in the SEC.
No, go ahead if you got it.
Okay, so obviously Florida this weekend, and that game is at home. So they're at LSU.
That's going to be a tough one for me. That's going to be a tough one for me, especially if LSU is able to stop them early on defense with the way Jay Ward and that secondary the way that secondary was playing. I think that's going to be a tight one. I like LSU in that game.
They get Alabama at home.
I like Bama close.
Okay, UT Martin.
Destruction.
They get Kentucky at home.
Win.
This is why their schedule really is working out for them.
This is why I'm not 100% sold on Kentucky. I don't think Kentucky can score.
Now, they go to Georgia.
That's a loss.
Which is good because, like, to me, it's going to be hard to beat Georgia either way.
Yeah.
Right? So, you might as well just go to them and see if you're going to can hang with them and beat them.
You lost,
anyway.
we're on the road.
Yeah, exactly. Then you get all the rest of them at home.
Exactly.
That's how sometimes I feel about Michigan going into the horseshoe. I'm like, and sometimes you guys going to Tuscaloosa
nothing to lose
and playing Alabama. It's like, well, the rivalry nature of that is already going to get you to a certain point, and it's already going to be tough to beat them at home. Might as well get all the other games at home.
That's exactly
and play that one on the road. Missouri at home.
Win.
At South Carolina.
Win.
And then Vanderbilt. Here in
Dude,
Nashville,
it seems
boys.
like 5-3 to me in the SEC, man. That's what I called at the beginning. Now, the LSU game is the most winnable of those to me that I'm saying they'll lose between Georgia, Bama, and LSU. Obviously, LSU is the most winnable, even if it's on the road. They beat Florida and they go beat LSU. You want to talk about a huge game? Alabama going to Knoxville. That's going to be the biggest game that Tennessee's played in since the SEC championship that we went to when they ended up losing. Did they beat ours? I can't remember. With Riggs. No, it was against Auburn. Tennessee, yeah.
When
2004, right?
They lost.
2004, they lost to Auburn.
They had that lefty quarterback with the shield on his face.
Yeah.
I remember.
Which one of the Clausen brothers was that?
That's who it was. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be extremely interested in what that spread is.
Are you going to be extremely interested? Or are you going to be like
what it is
really
that spread against Bama at home? I guarantee it won't probably be more than maybe 3.5 Bama.
Oh, so under a touchdown, you think?
Yeah. I'm telling you right now, like Bama offensively, it ain't the same. It don't look like it's been looking. Like
why you talk different?
Yeah,
than before?
it don't look like I've been seeing Bryce get 10 seconds in the pocket scrambling and no one get open.
But didn't it kind of look like that last season?
Year,
second half against Florida. Half against Florida.
Jump off the bandwagon.
Because after that second half against Florida, we said, oh, this is going to be the best thing to happen to Alabama because Nick Saban's going to get them right.
J-Mo and Mechie ain't on that team this year.
Well, JoJo Earl and Harrell are coming back. Like,
I could get that, but I ain't seen guys like even last year. You go back, you look at J-Mo, it's like, oh yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. There's not a guy on that team that looks like, oh yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. There's not a guy who can take the top off or a guy that's in the intermediate routes right now, like Mechie was. Great blocker. Those guys aren't on that team. Now, I mean, maybe it's a feel thing with the receivers. Maybe it just takes a little bit more time. But last year's team had the guys who could take it off the top, be in the intermediate game and win, and just had great feel with Bryce Young. I don't see that right now.
Well, they're on the team. Tyler Harrell can absolutely fly. Go watch his Louisville tape last year. It's like downside hut, it's like the Flash. Like once he comes back, that's going to help JoJo Earl. But he's on the team, is what I'm saying.
What is his timetable?
I believe he should be back in the next couple of weeks. He may be back this weekend.
Gotcha.
I need to look.
Okay. All right, 5 big questions.
Yep.
Let's go to Major League Baseball really fast because Aaron Judge has tied Babe Ruth with 60 regular season home runs. 15 games remaining. What number will he get to?
That wimpy deer? I say he hit 65.
65. That was the number we had been asking.
I say he hit
Blaine?
65.
64.
What do you think, Cone?
64. 66.
Yeah. Y'all sandwiched me. Thanks.
We didn't plan
Great job, guys. Let's go ahead and run the clip. Look, I feel like we play a clip of this every day. Stop pitching to Aaron Judge if you don't want to be the guy that gives up the last one. That's an absolute tank. Even Gadarian would be impressed by that tank. Just a line drive. Blaine, what did you say? You think that Aaron Judge was part of an alien spaceship that crashed?
Yeah, that crashed.
And they just accidentally left him?
Yeah, so it's the same one, you know, who they came in there looking for Superman, they found him, he was part of them, but he actually got off the ship. Then he got they left him, they forgot about him, then they found him in a cornfield or in their farm eating live chicken. Right? And then they saw him, they actually locked him in his garage, there's a bat in there, he swung, just absolutely blew up the shed. He's like, you know what? We're gonna get in front of some scouts. Right? Then they did that, and then they did everything like what they do with the 7-footers. They get them all on an island.
Yeah.
All right, and they let 2 out every year. All right, they let 2 out. Like, hey, you go to the NBA, he's gonna hit 2-seam fastballs.
7-footer island?
Yeah.
That's how Purdue recruits in
Jurassic
basketball.
Park. Yeah, how do you think Purdue gets their centers?
That's exactly right.
Like Jurassic Park.
That's hilarious.
You gotta call Chris Pratt. He's like, we'll let 2 out. You know, like.
Is this part
they
of
let Schroeder out, who's a Raptor, who just runs around the basketball court. He's signed with
So you can sign with the Lakers?
Yeah, for sure.
Wayne said they were the island of 7-footers.
That has to be. Where do they come from?
Like, all right, let Walker Kessler out.
Yeah.
He's ready.
Yeah, like literally, it's what it is. Like they play the music, like the Jurassic Park music when he walks into places.
Are you in one of those those cars that's like a
like the
bubble
little
that you're
bubble
driving
cars,
around in?
you're right,
Is that what he's driving?
They're like, if you look to the left, Greg Oden.
Yeah,
has returned.
Like you look to like Walker Kessler's doing a drop step move.
Is this part of your Outer Space versus Inner Earth movie script?
No, it's not, but it can be.
Little
could be part of
subplot?
it.
You know, to be honest with you, I'm not getting enough attention I want to have on that movie. Everyone else is just doing other movies. So
Well, the Practical Joker
I'm really
said
reaching out right now to find the budget that I need.
How much do you need?
$200 million.
200 million.
I love that.
Just 200 million?
Hey,
Look, I'm gonna call Michael Bay.
I love that Blaine's having $200 million budget meetings before he's written a page of the script.
Well, he said it's all in his
It's
mind.
written. What do you mean?
Where is it, bud?
It's in my head. It's like the Book of Eli. That's what it is. It's all in Braille.
Blaine said it was so hot yesterday that when he walked outside, he felt like Denzel from the Book of Eli. That was
Yeah, it was just
That was pretty.
All right, next one. Let's stay with baseball. Mets, Dodgers, Astros have all clinched postseason
Who cares?
berths. Max Scherzer's out here breaking records, you know.
Yeah.
Or
Cat eyes?
Jacob deGrom. Maybe it was Jacob deGrom out here breaking records. But which team do you think will impress more in the postseason?
I think it's the Astros. Okay, the Mets and Braves still fighting it out for the wild card. So, will the Mets lose? Y'all lose a game, man. Taijuan Walker today. Just lose it today. I'm taking the Brewers money line anyway. Adrian Hauser's on the mound. Just go ahead and lose for your boy. So the Astros clinched the West again. I think the Astros, especially after losing the World Series, the Braves last year, right now. I think they're the favorite in my mind to win the World Series. The Dodgers are the Dodgers. All right, they just clinched NLDS home field. They've obviously been the man in that division. They've dominated. They've won it. I think it's really good, though, for the Mets and the Yankees, even though I still think the Mets fall apart in the playoffs. I think they still get in the wild card. They don't win the division. But I think it's really good for the Mets and the Yankees to be in the playoffs. I think it just adds. It's good for baseball right now. They kind of need it. Just like in the NFL, it's good when the Giants and the Jets are good, like to make the playoffs. Remember, Giants, Patriots, New York, New England, that matchup, that was fantastic. So I think the Astros are the most dangerous. Now the Blue Jays, not out of it. Not out of it at all. Okay, go ahead and make your giggles, make your laughs.
No,
fine.
it's just funny because you always bring that up.
Well, it's the truth.
Well, they're not out of it.
They're not out of it. That's look. Facts don't care about your feelings, man. You know what I'm saying? Like we can drop that line.
Picked them?
I'm looking at it. No.
Yes.
Maybe they're leading the wild card by 2.5 games. Just get in. Just get in. I picked you to win the World Series. Just get in because you can't win it if you're not in.
I love it. You want to move to the NFL?
Let's move to the NFL.
Let's go to this
baby.
Nick Chubb play from the Browns the other day on his third touchdown.
We need to talk about this.
This doesn't sit right with me here.
Okay.
You want to break this down for us?
Yeah, we have a clip. Let's go ahead and pull the clip up. I want to play it. So situation is 24-17. The Browns are up with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left in the game. It's 1st and 10, and the Jets don't have any timeouts. Remember, there is a 2-minute warning. Let's run the clip. Heavy personnel. Chubb's going to bounce out inside zone, and he's going to score. Make a guy miss, and he's going to score. All right, so you think, oh, hey, great play, Nick Chubb. You're up 2 touchdowns, which the game should be over. Now, here's where it gets a little weird, Cone. Nick Chubb came out and apologized because the Browns would miss the extra point and go up 13. So if you see the 2-minute warning's going to hit, so it's going to be second down. The argument is, should Nick Chubb have gone down after he got the first down right there so they would have a first down and they could knee the ball out? Because Nick Chubb came out and said, that's my fault. I shouldn't have scored. I should have just gone down after I got the first down, and the Jets would have never had a chance to get the ball back and score, therefore never having a chance to kick the onside kick that they got, and therefore never having the chance to win the game, which they ultimately did. What are your thoughts on this, Cone?
Here's what you're asking your running back to do in that scenario. It's not like they're in the middle of the field. You're asking him to run get a 10-yard gain, which is already hard enough, not go out of bounds because that'll stop the clock, and then go down at the 1-yard line, which, look, I mean, technically, yes, that would have been the best possible case scenario. But you know what would be better is go ahead and score the touchdown and recover onside kicks. You know, maybe we can get that right. Or figure out a way to just go ahead and knee the clock out, and then even then you can still kick a field goal on 4th down.
You would have had, when the 2-minute warning hit, because there was, I think, 157 seconds left. Something like that. You're looking at the 40-second clock.
There was a minute and 50. Well, there was a minute 57.
Yeah, a minute 57.
The minute 57, and the clock would have stopped because the play started.
Warning, not 157 seconds. I'm losing my mind. The clock would have stopped because of the 2-minute warning.
Yes.
So you would have 2 40-second plays. So you think you're going to take 8 seconds to run 2 plays. It's going to be run plays, even if you ended up kneeing it out. You're looking at about 130 seconds. So you, in reality, if you'd have got the first down, you could have kneed it out and there not been a problem. If you would have just kneed out going in the 2-minute warning, you could have kicked a field goal to go up 2 scores and there'd have been 5 seconds, something like that left. So I think you can look at this multiple ways. I think Nick Chubb should have gone down. I think he could have gone down.
Even before the first down?
No,
like he's around the corner?
The first down. I think he could have got the first down and gone down.
Just at the 1-yard line.
Just at the 1-yard line. I think, because there was a little more space than just 1 yard. This is about 1.5, 2 yards. But the funny part is, you could have gone out of bounds too. The clock was going to stop because of the 2-minute warning. You didn't have to go down in bounds. You could have gotten the first down and just ran right out of bounds, and then you knee it out. I think that is the complaint with Nick Chubb. Because it is not easy to just fall down inside the 1 or inside 2 yards. But knowing the clock was going to stop because of the 2-minute warning, you could have just ran out of bounds after getting the first down and kneed it out. That's a little tough, but to me, there's so many little things. And I know Nick Chubb's a smart player, but to me, that's not nearly as egregious as what happened with North Carolina and App State, where North Carolina recovered the onside kick and the guy ran it back for a touchdown to kick an extra point to go up 8 instead of just getting the onside kick and going down. Getting down, because you go down, you knee it out, the game's over. You don't give App State that chance that they took advantage of to score. Now, App State didn't get the 2-point conversion, but that's a totally different egregious thing. That was a selfish play, or you didn't know. You can't be stupid and selfish. You got to be one of the two. Don't know which one it was. Then you go back and look at Auburn versus Bama last year. We talk about Harsin and the coaching mistakes they continue to make and how they keep getting dominated schematically after halftime and the little things they don't do right. Tank Bigsby doesn't go down in bounds against Alabama. You give Alabama more time and you lose and you blow it. But that's what Brian Harsin's done at Auburn. I mean, he's blown it more than the guy who had than Ron Burgundy with the conch shell when he gets the team into a symbol. So
what do you think, Brian?
Man, why don't you play defense?
Well, don't give up. Don't get an onside kick.
Yeah, how about you play defense? Coaches, look, what are we saying in his ear before the play? I mean, I know you make millions of dollars, Nick Chubb. And the thing about Nick Chubb is usually that guy who you can trust to go down. He's done it before, or not score, and they knee it out. Coming from a former fantasy owner of Nick Chubb. But, I mean, I go back to this is on the coaches, this is on the defense. I mean, you were up 13 with a minute something left. You should have won this game. I wouldn't put it on Nick Chubb. And who's in his ear before the play?
That's the thing.
Sure
if they were reminding him and he purposely did something.
Which we don't know.
Which we don't know. And another thing is if he's at midfield and breaks away and everyone, he's behind everyone and then he's running 40 yards for a touchdown because he wants to score another TD or something like that, that's a little bit different than, he only has a yard and a half basically to be able to go down. And like you said, he could go out of bounds because even if he goes down, they could just not touch him. It could be one of those scenarios where the defense wants a running back to score. So that they can have a chance to get the ball
the
back.
clock's going to
stop. But you know what? Shout out to Nick Chubb for having broad enough shoulders to take this responsibility on himself and say, you know what? I could have done better. It would have been a highly cerebral play. We should have won the game anyway. Didn't blame special teams, didn't blame defense, didn't blame a kicker. He said, you know what? I can figure out a way to help the team win.
Yeah, well, Nick Chubb's always been that type of guy. That's why I got a lot of respect. It's funny, him and Sonny Michel coming out of basically the same class are very similar in the way they handle their business and kind of the way they run the ball. Now, they're obviously different bags, but they're both physical, but they're cerebral guys, they're smart guys, and they're about the team. So I got a ton of respect for Nick.
They were both in Georgia's backfield. Just think about that for a second.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, let's talk about this situation with Coach Shane Beamer. During South Carolina's game Saturday, the Gamecocks were going for a 4th down, but there was a Title IX celebration in the end zone, and Coach Beamer was yelling for them to get off the field so that they could go for the 4th down. Now he's apologizing for this. Can you break this down?
Yeah, this is a beta move for me for Shane Beamer. It's not the girls' fault, okay? It's not the soccer team's fault. It's whoever does the stadium ops. We're playing Georgia, okay? The #1 ranked team in the country. We're already at a huge disadvantage, okay? And you're seeing it right now. It's 4th down and 9. You're already down 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. You're having to go for it on 4th and 9 in the second quarter, okay? So it's already not going good. You're having to make a decision, and you're going to put the Title IX ceremony on the field while we're playing. It's not a timeout or anything like that. And I'm going to have to wait. So what does Georgia see? They see my formation. They see my personnel. It's almost like you gave Georgia free timeout is what you did. That is absolutely embarrassing. And you had one of the soccer players, Shane, I would have yelled too. But Shane's not yelling at the girls because it's a Title IX ceremony. He's yelling because you're bringing people, I don't care if it's girls, guys, dogs, Pokemon, Digimon, gotta catch them all. Keep them off the field while the game's being played. Kirby Smart's yelling at them too. You're in the middle of a game. It has nothing to do with one of the soccer players is like, oh, well, we just went out there to get celebrated. And Coach Beamer was yelling at us, toughen up.
Soft, man.
Toughen up.
We just went out there to be celebrated.
You went out there to be celebrated because of your gender. Toughen up. And Shane Beamer, toughen up. Don't apologize.
Don't apologize.
I'd have came out and said, listen. And if you look at Shane Beamer, every press conference he's ever had, he's showing love to Don Staley and the women's basketball team. He's showing love to the soccer team. Keep your ass off the field during the game. I don't care what's in between your legs. And again, it's not the player's fault, Blaine. The person who told them to go out there, they're not just walking out there willy-nilly. If it was the baseball team, he would have yelled at them the same. If it was the football team, imagine that. It's a women's soccer game, big women's soccer match. They're good in women's soccer. South Carolina is. All of a sudden, there's a penalty kick to beat North Carolina, and you got the offense out on the field in front of the goal waving because it's, Title VIII day or whatever. I don't know. And the soccer coach would not be happy about that. Well, so to me, this is just a beta move all around.
Well, yeah, I don't know why Coach Beamer apologized for this. I think he reached a little bit of that, didn't have to do that. Well, the thing about keep their ass off the field, well, they were asked to be on the field.
That's what I'm talking to the stadium ops person.
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted when this happened, I was like, someone should be fired for this.
And they thought you were talking about the offensive coordinator.
Someone that thought I was talking about the offensive coordinator was South Carolina. I don't care who's your offensive coordinator. You weren't scoring points against those guys. But, I don't like the apology, but this was set up terribly. It's embarrassing, in my opinion, that this happened. I mean, live on TV. I've never seen this.
I've never seen it either.
Through all my years of watching football, I've never seen this. Because there's a plan for this, right? Guess it was at the end of the first quarter. But the weird thing about it is, those girls should have already been out there. While time was slowly ticking down for the first quarter, where there's a minute, 2 minutes left, boom, I've been out there. My dad played at Auburn, so we've gone on the field for certain ceremonies for certain years. You're ready. It's a quick thing. It doesn't last long. It's scheduled. Boom, 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 we're out. Bad look for South Carolina. Beamer, don't apologize. You're the head coach. Nick Saban would never apologize for this. So make sure you
no
stay
more
strong
women's
there.
sports
But
at
don't
Alabama.
complain. One that I do agree with y'all. Don't complain about getting yelled at. You're getting celebrated in front of thousands and thousands of people. So how about you say, well, okay, thank you, then go back into the
I've got a great idea. How about we just do this all before the game? How about we do it all before the game? There you go. Problem solved.
Or after.
Or after.
And during the game, we play
Do it
football on the
after.
field. How about
that's
that?
exactly
What a novel idea.
That's exactly right.
You want the last one, or do you want to bring?
Let's go ahead and bring Brandon Marcello
Okay.
from 2.
I want to save this last one on the Draymond Green and the NBA Owners Association or the NBA.
Because I actually agree with Draymond.
Because I want to get to that. So.
That is true. Yeah. All right, Brandon Marcello, 247 Sports. This guy covers college football like a warm blanket in Siberia during the winter, which, is it always winter in Siberia? I'm not sure. Brandon, what's up, man? How's it going?
Going well, guys. What's going on?
Not much. Just wondering if it's always winter in Siberia. Is there a summer in Siberia?
Never been.
Never been?
I know that shocks you.
We should do a show from there.
I know that shocks you. But
Yeah.
You want to
do
do
a show from there?
Well, what do you mean? We're actually there right now.
Oh, we are.
Outside, we're inside.
No, that's true. It's where Aaron Judge is from, turns out. But Brandon, I want to go ahead and start. We're going into week 4. It's amazing how fast the college football season goes. And Blaine, let's get the Booster Club's feet chopping with some questions over there. But Brandon, what are a few storylines that you've kind of looked at or have kind of stood out to you early in the season as somebody that covers it nationally like we do?
You know, to me, like, I know this sounds crazy, but the most surprising thing to me is just how good Georgia still is, especially defensively. I thought that defense would take a little bit of a step back from last season. I mean, how could it not? Losing 8 draft picks, but man, they're maybe not as deep, but they're almost just as good. They're allowing 3.3 points per game. They have just completely shut down opponents. Now we're still waiting for them to really kind of face maybe a top of the line, top 5 type team. But until that happens, which will probably not be until the SEC championship game, it just looks like they're just going to dominate everybody. It almost reminds me, I think Georgia's gotten to the point now where it's almost like Alabama under Nick Saban, where they've just built that thing up to a point where he just comes in and it's just next man up. And Georgia's gotten to that point. And there's 2 teams in the country now that could say that. It was Alabama for the last like 5-6 years, and now it looks like it's Georgia as well. It's crazy.
Yep, here we go again. And as somebody that grew up an Auburn fan, great. It goes from Alabama to Georgia. What's next? Alabama State, Alabama, UAB? Who knows? Our boy Brian Vincent, they've got it rolling. But Brandon, I could make the argument that this year's Georgia team is better than last year's because they're more balanced. Remember, going into last year, my big thought was, all right, you know, with JT Daniels, with the weapons you have at receiver, is this the year we're going to see Georgia kind of be malleable offensively and evolve the way we saw Nick Saban evolve, bringing in Lane Kiffin. And then you had the injuries at wide receiver. I mean, Staquavius Bennett has to come in, who didn't take a rep during the whole offseason. And they kind of kept it close to the vest with that elite defense. Now, I mean, you see them rolling out in 10 personnel. They're getting in 11 personnel, splitting people out wide. It's kind of a more wide open offense. Stetson is playing with nothing to lose. To me, I would rather face last year's Georgia team than this year's Georgia team from what I've seen so far, to be honest with you, Brandon.
Yeah, because now you got Stetson Bennett out there with a lot of confidence and knowing that he's the man, and no one's breathing down his neck or questioning him and whether he should be the starter or whatever. Plus, I mean, he's just got weapons still all around him, and when you've got the type of tight ends that they've got, you can do whatever you want with the personnel out there. You can split those guys out wide, put their hand in the dirt. Brock Bowers is incredible. He's a type of player that, you know, I think that if they utilize him a little bit more, and they still utilize him quite a bit, he might be someone we might be talking about in the Heisman conversation, to be quite honest, because of the way they utilize him. I mean, the sweeps, handing the ball off to him. He is a dynamic athlete and someone we're going to be talking about on Sundays here in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and they got a kid, Oscar Delp, that's young as well. That's going to be fantastic. If you look around the country, the tight ends, this tight end class we have, I know Brock Bowers can't come out until next year, but right now the group of Brock Bowers, the Mayer kid from Notre Dame, Jaheim Bell from South Carolina, and there's more. There's some cats out there at tight end this year. Brandon, before we move on, we're going to get outside the SEC after this too. I do want to ask you, Brian Harsin in Auburn, it's an absolute disaster right now. You've covered Auburn before. You've watched him as long as I've watched him, Brandon. I've never seen what happened in Jordan-Hare happen last Saturday the way that it happened in Auburn, be as bad personnel-wise as they are, and mix that with mistakes and lack of effort. I had more former Auburn players reach out to me that were disgusted by what they saw. Brian Harsin, to me, the clock is ticking. If he loses to Missouri, I don't know if he makes the post-game press conference on after the game. But my question is this. Does Hugh Freeze get another shot in the SEC? Is it plausible?
I think at this point, if you're Auburn, you've got to consider maybe going for someone who's high risk and maybe high reward. I think that maybe you do give Hugh Freeze a look. Now, the other thing is can you convince enough of the boosters to come on board with that? But at this point, we're in a spot here, in a make or break spot for Auburn. If you make a change, your next hire cannot be a mistake, because then you're going down the line of, do we want to go down a dark decade like Tennessee just had? And then Josh Heupel seems to be getting them out of that finally. I think that that's very possible, because you make a couple of coaching changes and you do so quickly, and recruiting's been bad the way it is the last 3 years, really, dating back to the Gus Malzahn era. That's a very difficult hole to dig out of. And here's the other thing. Last week was terrible. That second half's one of the worst second halves I've seen Auburn play, just the way they were dominated and just seemed to just be listless out there. But the other big issue here, let's not forget, is just their recruiting has just been awful and terrible. And it's shown no signs of improvement. And I was down there in Auburn before the game. I sat down with Brian Harsin for about 30 minutes for a one-on-one interview for 24/7 Sports. And he kept talking about how this game was huge for them because they had so much talent and recruits coming in that this is their opportunity to finally show them, hey, this is why you should come to Auburn, because we're tough. We're getting this thing going. And then they put that performance out on the field. I mean, you're putting all your chips in the middle of the table here, considering everything that's happened in the last 6 months there. And then you got a big game at home, and then you show that. And guess what? The back half of your schedule is twice as difficult as it is this first half. I don't see how he makes it to next season, obviously. But I will say this. I'd be surprised if they make a change during the middle of the season because of their power structure right now, the lack of one with the lack of an AD, really. Mm-hmm. I think that they'll wait and make a change until the end of the season. But you can bet that boosters and others around that program are already reaching out to people and sending out feelers to figure out who would be interested.
I got told by a friend of mine who was there, who actually brought kids to the game, that he brought 2 guys that were both 4 stars. Both of them called somebody to come pick them up at halftime of the game. That's how bad it was.
Really?
Yep. True story.
That's not good.
No.
That's not good.
Get his ass out.
Brandon, let's go to the ACC. Clemson goes to Wake Forest. Now, Wake pulled off a close game against Liberty last weekend. Honestly, Sam Hartman and that Wake offense did not look like like they're accustomed to looking. Clemson, on the other hand, top 5 team in the country. We talk about how balanced a team like Georgia is. Clemson is not balanced. That defense is top 5 for sure. The offense, not so much. How do you see this game going at Wake Forest, and could there be a quarterback change for Clemson in the near future?
I look at it like this. Clemson's defensive line against that Wake Forest offensive line, they returned all their starters. But the thing is that Wake Forest with that slow mesh offense, you watch it develop and you sit there and you're almost like you're waiting for something to just explode or the ball to hit the ground. And sometimes they get a big play and listen, you can't argue with the production. But Clemson's got to be licking their chops because Liberty last week got to the quarterback often, and they were pressuring him, and they were making that offense really have to work for things. And Liberty kind of took a page out of Clemson's book with the type of blitzes they were utilizing against Wake Forest. They were it looked like Liberty just watched Clemson game film for the last few years.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. And so I think that's a bad sign. If Liberty's able to do that to you, imagine what Clemson's going to be able to do with the best defensive front potentially in all of college football. And here's the other thing. You got a couple of kids going back home to Winston-Salem, including a guy that I really like that has come on here in his final year there at Clemson, KJ Henry. In the season opener against Georgia Tech, he was just like materializing like just in front of the quarterback and just being a complete terror. And that has not happened his previous several years there at Clemson. Those guys are all working in tandem. It's like a beautiful band just kind of working together. Everybody's hitting the right notes. And I think Wake Forest could be in for a heap of trouble, but it's at home for Wake Forest. They've got a lot of talent, but they've got a lot of veteran talent. This game for them is going to be about making adjustments because Clemson just has the personnel. They're going to be able to disrupt them. How do they adjust? They're going to have to adjust quite a bit in this game to stay in it.
Let's go to Oklahoma quickly. Big win over Nebraska. I know Nebraska's not a great football team, but that's an old school rivalry. Nebraska had just fired Scott Frost. I thought they could circle the wagons and play Oklahoma a little bit tougher at home. That was not the case. For Oklahoma to beat Nebraska in that fashion was quite impressive to me. Now they're going to host a good Kansas State team who just came off of a tough loss against Tulane. How do you see this one going?
Here's the other thing. Chris Kleiman, the coach at Kansas State, has success against OU. Kansas State has had success against OU, even during their years we were going, well, they don't have a shot here. I think this game's going to be pretty tight. I like the way Kansas State plays, even though it didn't show up really in the Tulane game. Adrian Martinez kind of took a step back. I thought he had really kind of started coming into his own there at Kansas State, was feeling a little bit more comfortable. But I think this game is going to be tight. I really do. I think it's going to be a game that's potentially just in the 20s. With the way Kansas State plays. And I still think OU is going to come out on top in this just because I think that defense for OU is playing better right now under Brent Venables than it was previously under Alex Grinch. I think that defense the last 2 years had really underperformed under Alex Grinch. And I know everybody pumps him up as like a head coach candidate at some point. Maybe he will be, but Venables just knows how to work things. And despite them losing some talent from that defense last year, he's come in and he knows what pieces to work with. Actually, the one thing that worries me about OU is Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. I'm waiting for him to be in a pressure situation in the fourth quarter in like a one-score game.
Yeah.
He hasn't really come up big yet in his career, and he's had some struggles. I particularly look at last year when he was at UCF, and it's a game he actually got injured in on the final play against Louisville. He just wasn't quite getting it together there. He was rushing things and they end up losing. I got to see him kind of be calm, cool, and collected at OU in a tight game before I start saying maybe OU's an actual, like a playoff team. I think they're one of the best 6 teams in the country right now, but they're going to have a tight game here on the schedule. And I think this Kansas State game may very well be it.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Wake Forest is kind of like the Jamie Moyer or Adam Wainwright offensively.
Yeah.
Like most guys are throwing 95, 96 out there, and all of a sudden Jamie Moyer comes in throwing 89, but it's just tough because the timing's off. You know what I'm saying? But eventually you see that enough, you're going to time it up and start hitting it out of the stadium. So I think that's kind of the Clemson Wayne thing. I do want to say something too real quick about the Clemson defensive line. La Tech, each player wrote a letter to Brian Breesy, whose sister had just passed away from cancer before that game. I thought that was an incredible gesture, and I've become a La Tech fan just for seeing that. I thought that was a great gesture.
Well, it's amazing what Venables has already imprinted that defense at Oklahoma.
True. For sure.
Like
you
that
can
already.
smell it on them.
Hey, big matchup this weekend. I don't know if people are talking about it enough. You got A&M versus Arkansas.
Woo!
All right. I just want to kind of get what do you think you're going to see? Who do you have winning and why?
This is crazy. Arkansas's got the worst pass defense in the country. They lost a couple of safeties on the back end. Jalen Catalon, who I thought was going to be an All-American candidate, is out for the season. And then A&M's pass offense, we all know, it just hasn't been explosive. Jimbo Fisher just doesn't put together explosive pass offenses. If A&M, I think A&M's going to be able to hit some balls downfield, and that's going to be an issue for Arkansas. KJ Jefferson for the Razorbacks, I think for them to be a contender, to maybe be right behind Alabama in the SEC West this year, KJ Jefferson got to put that entire team on his back.
Yep.
And he had to do so a little bit against Missouri State when they were in trouble there. And I think part of the reason why Missouri State was up on Arkansas last week is because KJ knew he had to protect himself. He wasn't keeping the ball on some of these RPOs and running the ball. He'll do that more against A&M. I think this could be a very entertaining game. I think people will go, wow, where'd this A&M offense come from all of a sudden? But I think that'll have more to do with Arkansas's pass defense. But I really don't know who wins this one. But I will say this. I think it's going to be pretty entertaining because you're going to see a couple of quarterbacks out there that look real dynamic. One partially because of the Arkansas defense, but another because of KJ Jefferson, who he knows he's got to carry the team on his back, and he's going to do some special things if he can stay healthy.
Love KJ. Couple from the Boost Club line.
Yeah, let's go to Emmanuel C. All right, hashtag Ask Brandon. When will Kirby Smart's coaching tree produce national championship producing coaches similar to how Nick Saban's tree has?
Give it time. I mean, his staff right now is mostly like veterans, though. I don't see Will Muschamp getting a head coaching gig once again. And
Dan
for
Lanning,
that matter,
maybe?
contending.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe. If he isn't like previous Oregon coaches and just leaves for a bigger
They're
gig.
the App State of the Pac-12.
Yeah, I love it. All right, John Doe wants to know, does an undefeated Florida State Noles team get in the playoff over a one-loss SEC.
Hey, I love it. Hey, look, Florida State, I love Florida State being somewhat back. Somewhat.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
do
Brandon.
too.
Sorry.
No, that's an interesting question. Sure, why not? I think the committee would fall enough in love with, Florida State's back, that they would put them in over a one-loss SEC team, and there would be some controversy there, but that ain't happening. Florida State ain't going undefeated. We know that.
Yeah, we'll see how healthy Jordan Travis is. All right, Blaine, one more for the Beach Club.
Okay, JT Bryan wants to know what's your prediction for your biggest upset this weekend? You have a dog this weekend you see coming out on top?
Oh, man.
Brandon, San Diego State's a home dog against Toledo. I know their backup quarterback just hit the portal, but what do I not know? What do I not
I don't
know?
know. There's something.
There's something I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. You know what? I'm gonna just go out on a limb and just say it. I'm gonna say Wake beats Clemson because Clemson's offense under DJ Uiagalelei, they run into some trouble. They turn the ball over. Here's the thing: Wake Forest is a turnover opportune team.
Mm-hmm.
They lead, I think, the country the last 2 years in turnover margin. They're like, I think, +5 or maybe +9. So I don't have the numbers in front of me, but if you look back, their defense, that's all they do is turn the ball over. Yeah. They had 4 turnovers against Liberty last week. If that didn't happen, they obviously don't win. I think they turn over DJ Uiagalelei. I'll say it. I'll just say Wake beats Clemson if that happens. I think they force 3 turnovers and they beat Clemson.
Brandon, if that does happen, we will use this clip and put it on the internet. If it doesn't, we will burn the film, so nobody will ever know.
Thank you, because I am not confident. I am not confident at all in that pick.
I'll say this, Brandon, before we let you ride. I think this is the game where it's tight and DJU screwing up and they put Cade Klubnik in.
The hero?
They never take him out.
That's what I think
this is the game where Cade Klubnik leaves them. Maybe it's a last-second drive. Maybe he comes in and Jon Snows it, pulls the sword out.
Trevor Lawrence is
I'll fight that works. It doesn't matter. And this is what Clemson does, right? Remember, Deshaun Watson comes in. Trevor Lawrence comes in.
Debo's purpose.
It's like Debo's sitting in the meeting and they're like, you know what? He's like, we're going to do it this game. It's going to happen this game.
Yeah.
But, Brandon, you're always fantastic, my friend. Tell everybody where they can find your work. You talked about the SEC dropping the new schedules yesterday as well, and the timing's kind of interesting on that.
Yeah, very interesting. Check me out on Twitter at @bmarcello, and a lot of news coming, I think. Yeah. Next week, the college football playoff guys all get together, and I think there'll be some newsy nuggets out of that.
Definitely. We'll be watching it. Love to have you back on. Brandon, thanks again for getting up with us this morning, my friend.
All right, see you guys.
All right, brother. See you later. All right, Brandon Marcello, always fantastic. Let's finish 5 big questions.
Yeah, I want to ask this last one here because Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors has said the NBA owners should vote on whether or not to ban Phoenix Suns owner Robert Sarver, who's obviously gotten a lot of trouble, suspended for 1 year and fined $10 million. You and I were talking about this a little bit. Give me your thoughts.
I actually agree with Draymond Green here. Mm-hmm. So you mean I'm equal punishment to me. Like it's your league, right? You do what you want to do. You're going to say what you want to say, whatever helps you optically, but at least be fair and even. So you banned Donald Sterling, who owned the Clippers for life. You banned him. Out the league, had to sell the team. And he did some nefarious stuff. But what Sarver did, you use the N-word multiple times. I don't care how you're using it. You shouldn't use that word. You're sexually harassing women at work. And these are things that are basically proven, okay? This isn't, he said, she said, whatever. I don't understand the system of justice in the NBA. Why are you doing this to Donald Sterling, but Sarver gets away with it? Like, what, are y'all just tighter? Are you and Adam Silver tighter? I agree with Draymond here. The owners, and he's saying the owners should vote. Not that the players should vote about an owner, which I don't agree with. The owners should vote, which I do agree with. Because you guys are the board. Yep. That's what you are of the NBA. You are the board. Adam Silver is the commissioner. Who does he answer to? The same guy Roger Goodell answers to. The owners. That's how these leagues work. The teams are owned by people that have a ton of money that help the league make more money. I don't understand the unequal consequences here outside of there has to be some sort of relationship. But I think in this situation, the owners should vote. I think they should, whenever something pops up like this, whether it was Sterling, which the owners didn't vote, you just banned them, sell the team, see you later, adios. So what's different about this guy? But I agree with Draymond. I agree. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, again, Robert Sarver, I don't know the man personally, and I wasn't in any of these meetings. What he's being accused of, though, sounds a lot like the type of behavior of guys I've had to work for before in my past.
Yep.
And anytime I would find myself in those situations, I would ask, how are these guys not getting caught with this behavior? How are they getting away with this? You know, like, how are they able to say these sorts of things and behave like this when they are the leader of a company? Well, when you have a private company, right, if you build a company from scratch, as long as you're not doing anything illegal, you can really run that company and, you know, say a lot of the things you want to say. In this situation, when you are part of a league, right, an association, you no longer just have the unilateral ability, to be able to say and run an organization how you want, and you need to be held accountable. What better way to be held accountable than with all of the other owners of the teams who are part of the league that you're affiliated with? So I think Draymond Green has a point here.
Yeah, I think exactly right. Blaine, what do you think? You know?
No, I agree. If this is true, it's disgusting in every level, and he should be banned. But I don't agree with Draymond a lot. But I do agree with him on this one.
Yeah, they need to give him a swift kick in the groin. Draymond knows all about that. But if you want to watch the rest of the show, remember, you can stay here and listen to it. Head over to the Daily Wire Plus, become a member. There's some great stuff over there. Jordan Peterson, y'all need to go check it out. Or listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Go ahead and subscribe. Like this video and subscribe as well if you're watching on YouTube. Leave us a 5-star review and share it with all your friends. Have some great stuff coming up. Mailbag, Get Off My Lawn by David Cohn. Some fantasy updates, bets, and our college football power rankings. We still got a lot of show left, Cohn. We're going to have to rock and roll, as well as go on the Booster Club. We'll be right back. That's right, it's Wednesday. That means my Aaron Judge-sized friend and co-host David Cohn is going to tell somebody to get off his lawn. We always wonder who, why, what, when, where, and of course how. David, please enlighten us with your brilliance.
Today, I am telling factions of the Oregon student section to get off my lawn.
Get out.
Last Saturday, the University of Oregon football team dominated 12th-ranked Brigham Young University, winning by a final score of 41-20. Unfortunately, this victory was coupled with controversy that certain fans in the student section chanted, F the Mormons. Ooh. And if you're wondering which F word I'm referring to, I'm sure there's a joke in there about Oregon's mascot being a duck. Now, University of Oregon officials have already apologized for what they deemed offensive and disgraceful language, and I guarantee you there are more Oregon fans who are outraged by this behavior than who support it. But I do want to bring up a point I made during the BYU-Duke volleyball fiasco, and that is this. If someone is yelling offensive language on a college campus in 2022, best believe it is being recorded. And yet the media coverage of this incident with evidence pales in comparison to its volleyball counterpart, which lacked any. Furthermore, I've yet to see any schools cancel games against Oregon the way South Carolina head basketball coach Don Staley did with BYU. As a matter of fact, and I can't make this up, guys, South Carolina just wrapped up a volleyball match of their own against the Ducks. Now, I'm not going to stand here and pretend to be perfect. I have used disgraceful language myself, mostly Monday night after losing to Blaine in fantasy football. And I certainly understand there is a time and a place for competitive trash talk, although this did not fall into that category. Moreover, if you replace the word Mormon in that chant with any other quote-unquote marginalized group, the football game would have been stopped and the stadium evacuated. So moving forward, I really hope the kids who shouted that awful language learn from this and grow. But just remember, while you're growing, my grass is too. So stay off my lawn.
That's great stuff, Dave. That's great. You know, let's call it what it is. Okay? Like you said, they're chanting about a bunch of white people. If it was about anybody else other than white people, it could be about animals.
Well, and religion,
and they would be so upset. You know? Yeah, it's exactly right. That's true. I mean, you look at the Mormon religion. Let's be honest. I mean, it's predominantly one group.
Yeah, what offensive language did you use Monday?
Yeah, what offensive language did you use about Blaine?
That's what I'm interested
What'd you
in,
call
Dave.
Blaine?
What'd
Can
you
tell
call
me
me,
what you
Dave?
called Blaine?
You know,
Lucky, was
I
it lucky SOB?
I already walked you through what I did. When
I want you to walk them through.
the offensive language was only in my head, so at least there's
Good.
that. I guess
Okay.
actually, if you don't say it, it's not language. Offensive thoughts
Okay.
and disgraceful
Hey.
thoughts. I already told you what I did when Jalen Hurts scored that first touchdown because I flipped over from the Bills game. Okay?
Yeah.
Darby Luke
This
can
was funny.
corroborate
Yeah,
this.
dude.
She's probably in the chat. She
Yeah.
can tell you. Jalen Hurts scored that first 3-yard rushing touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I laughed. I giggled. I turned the TV off, and I told her, I'm going to get my bath.
I'm a bath bomb guy.
Oh, that's so
I'm a bath
awesome.
bomb guy. No, that's good. That's exactly right. It's
No,
just
you're
the truth.
right. Great job, David.
Yeah. What's the Booster Club say, Blaine?
First of all, Cone. They're always a huge fan of Get Off My Lawn.
Nice.
Wish we could have it
Good.
more. Let's go to Colleen Houston says, yes, Cone. Cannot believe fans have the audacity to insult BYU like that. This goes way past general trash talk.
Yes.
Let's go to Marvelous Marvin. Nice, David. The sad part is the court of public opinion has farther reach than reality.
That's exactly
which
right.
was true.
We already live in the metaverse.
Emmanuel C says, kudos, David Cone. Texas said this was done by a group of kids who believe there's zero consequences for their cruddy behavior.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and look, those kids, like I said, I'm not going to sit up there and pretend to be perfect, but I hope they learn from this. I hope they grow. I hope they get better. And, it's just not something that should be said.
No, I agree with that. But let's go to something that should be said. We got some mail. We haven't hit the mailbag in a while.
Mailbag.
The mailbag was
Let's get in our
full.
bag.
Hold on. This Mailbag Monday, but on a Tuesday,
When?
but on a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
You ready? Are you guys ready? From Frank. Hey guys, I just want to say that I absolutely
Frank?
love watching and listening to your
you, Frank.
show. Through my though my Twitter handle won't change until I feel that Blaine can win a month again, I'm at Blaine is tanking.
Love it.
All right. I do have a question
won,
for you
though.
guys. With the baseball rule changes that are going to be implemented with no shift, is this something that is going to allow for more small ball? Okay. Thank you for everything you guys do, and thank you for saving sports for me.
Frank, thank you. Number one.
Frank the Tank, love it.
Here's my thing with small ball. If you're not gonna play small ball when nobody is on one side of the infield, then I don't think you're gonna play small ball when everybody's lined up even. If there was ever a time to play small ball, and I'm not just talking about bunting when there's not a third baseman or shortstop there, but stealing second
Hit and
base,
runs.
hit and runs, stuff like that. Because when you're stealing bases, when you're shifted everywhere, it's the communication has to be, all right, I'm covering the base, you're backing it up, right? Because typically it depends on what, you got a left-handed batter up there, all right, we know who's covering, who's backing up, whatever. People do it different ways. So I think you won't see a change because, look, baseball's made the decision that home runs get more eyes than bunts and small ball and good pitching and winning games 3-2. And while that may be true, as a baseball purist, I don't like it. I don't like the way Blaine thinks about baseball. I think it'll ruin the sport. But that's just me. It's a total recall situation. So no, I don't. I think it's going to continue to stay the same. I'm not a huge fan of banning people from being places. If you want to put the third baseman in left field, man, let's hit the other way. You know what I'm saying? Keep your hands back. I'm not getting in this discussion again, Blaine, because you don't think pitchers ever miss their spots anymore, like they're pitching machines, but they're not.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I mean, pitching has gotten better.
I would say
through
that.
the years.
I'm saying that.
I hate the shift. I always have. It's just lame.
shifted.
It's so lame. People don't care about small ball anymore. They don't. There's a certain little fraction of people who are probably, 45 plus and Jake.
You mean baseball fans? You mean baseball
love
People who
baseball.
like baseball?
That's great. But baseball's not going for those people anymore. They're going for the younger generation. And what is the younger generation like?
Savannah
Tanks.
Bananas.
They like tanks. Well, hopefully not that. They like tanks. They like singles, doubles, triples. And you get more doubles and triples without the shift. So you get more runs. People like runs and home runs. And if you really want to gas it up, let's gas it up. Maybe we walk him in. Let's say, hey, you want some steroids? Do you want to fight in the 7th inning? How much do you really want to play? You want to put butts in seats? I know how to put butts in seats. And one thing you do is take away the shift. I hate the shift. Everyone hates the shift. Get that shift out of here.
There's a lot of different ways to make a game interesting.
I said, get that shit out of here.
I love a home run as much as the next guys.
you
Back to back, I do. I do. But I'll tell you what.
loves a good
You know what I'd rather see?
single up the
You know what I'd rather see? I'd rather see like a single to left field. That guy steals, and then someone lays down a squeeze bunt, and he scores from third,
That can
and that's
still happen.
exciting to win a game rather than one home run throughout 9 innings of a game. Right? I want to be entertained.
You'll see
The same
more
as you.
singles now that the shift is gone.
Sure. Okay. I can get behind that. Look, I've never liked the shift either. I've just always agreed with Jake that it's like, well, look, it's a strategy that someone has implemented. Beat them.
Look,
at their own game.
if I want to double a receiver, I'm going to put another guy over there.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to be like? Nope. They call that the line of scrimmage. I can't go past it, but I can put anywhere. Again, you can't have your third baseman in the batter's box.
That's what I always thought about the NBA defense. But my buddy Dave first told me that, and the rule has changed back and forth a bunch of times, but he told me at once, like, you can't run zone defense in the NBA. It has to be man. I was like, what?
That's
used to be that.
That's so
Like, what are you talking about?
When Michael played.
Yeah.
When Michael played. Get out of here. All right, next one.
Truth.
Name Emma. Hey, guys, exclamation mark. Hey, guys, exclamation mark. So now you know there's a good... There's a good energy. Love the show, and I am so glad the Daily Wire got a sports show, another exclamation mark. Nice. My question is a sports and dating one. Ooh. Do you guys actually want a girl who likes and knows sports, or is it more that you want a girl who will let you watch sports and looks good at a tailgate? Booster Club, feel free to pipe in because I'm curious about most men.
Okay, I think... There's a couple things to unpack here. Number one, Emma, that's a fantastic question. I'm having to really actually go into the left side of my brain to figure this one out. I think the first thing is, I think the girl needs to care enough about your interests that she wants to be involved in that.
What a high-level answer.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry, I'm laughing at myself. Now, do I want a girl that's up there, like that's watching the game with me and like we're discussing the leverage of the corner on cover 2? I don't want you to know that much. I want you to know enough where you can watch it and know when something good's happening. I want you to look good at the tailgate, of course. Who doesn't want that? It's just science. But I want you to know enough where we can watch the games and you can get upset, at your team, like Reed does. When Bama played A&M last year, she was just she turned into Emily Rose for four quarters. But I want you to know enough, but not too much. But I want you to care that I care. And I want you to let me watch the game, especially with my friends. But if you can watch it with me and it can be fun for everybody and you enjoy it, I'm totally down with it. Blaine? Did I answer that good?
I'm telling you, you're up here.
Okay, good.
Today.
Next guy, go ahead.
I'd rather you know nothing about sports than you knowing too much.
Really?
I don't want to be sitting there playing.
You don't want to marry Bill Belichick.
I don't want to be sitting there playing Madden and you're like, oh, well, he's running cover 2.
Yeah.
I need to run sail to the field. Like, where have you been and who have you been with? Yeah. I don't need to know too much of that. Do I want you to look good at the tailgate? Well, yeah, for sure. well, obviously, yeah. But, it really doesn't. I'd rather you know less than more. But I go back to what Jake says. Act like you care.
Yeah.
Even if you don't care deep down.
I pretend to care about things you care about that I do not care about.
Yeah, when my team loses, let's be sad together.
Yeah.
Right? When we win, let's be happy together. I mean, just as long as you're not a Bama fan, I'm
What happened on The Bachelorette? Do I care deep down? No. Do I care because you care? Surface level?
Yeah.
Again,
why are we
high
watching
level.
so many serial killers?
High level.
Are you okay? Is everything okay? Like, do we need to talk about anything?
Look, I've had a lot of losses in life. We all have. But in the wife game, I won.
You did.
I really won.
You did.
Darby Lou will sit there and scream at the television when Alabama's playing, why are we in 10 personnel on 4th and 1? And I'm sitting there like, yes. Yeah. I have to go to the bathroom real quick, come back, ask her, hey, was it man or zone? She knows.
Yeah.
That's not normal. And I love it.
Now, look, again, I think it's a lot more, like we said, it's about you being interested in something that I'm interested in. But the best part about our job is when that game's on Saturday, or that game's on Sunday, or that game's on Monday, or that game's on Thursday, or the game's on Friday, guess what that is? That's work.
There's a lot of games.
That's work. That's work. Hey, honey, why are you watching the game? So we can pay the bills. And I'm not telling. Somebody had something yesterday that was so funny. They said, I don't blame the Titans. The Bills kick my ass every month, too. That was good.
That is a good one. You want another one?
Oh, knee slapper. Yeah, let's get another mailbag question.
All right, let's go to Kyle. Just started watching, and I have to say I'm loving the show. You know what?
Yeah,
we actually have something from here. Loving the show. Thanks for a straight shooting, non-woke program. Now let's get to business. I grew up in Mississippi and somehow had absolutely zero care to watch college football.
Really?
Then I married a girl who grew up in Auburn.
Nice.
and graduated from Auburn. Now I'm all in. War Eagle! !
Okay.
Now you know he's about it. Let's get one major thing straight. Oh boy, here we go. As someone who wasn't brainwashed by Albie, Mama G's is the most mediocre sandwich shop in America. And the nachos are equivalent to microwave tortilla chips and shredded cheese. There, I've said it. Keep
It's
up the good
true.
work.
I need everybody to be quiet.
It's true. It's so true. You get Doritos and put them in the oven with cheese on it. What's up, Gordon Ramsay?
They have other
The
subs.
sandwiches are mid. They're Jimmy John's mid. You go to Mama G's for the atmosphere. That's what you do. I would so much rather go to Moe's on the Strip, right? Give me 12 wings, sit out back. There's cornhole, there's TV. The wings are phenomenal.
That place can be good,
The barbecue
too.
sauce is phenomenal, and the pitchers are cheap. Mama G's is mid, guys. It's mediocre. It is Kirk Cousins on a Monday night, mediocre. And he gets it.
Okay.
A lot of people get it.
Are you done?
No, I won't be done for a while.
No. Well, I need you to be done. Kyle, number one. First off, thanks, man. I appreciate the kind words. Number two, what part of Mississippi did you grow up in? I got a bunch of family in Tupelo. Don't know how you weren't a college football fan in Mississippi. That's almost impressive. Were you kidnapped for 18 years and then they let you go? Marrying an Auburn girl, great choice. Absolute great choice. I know you wake up every day and choose excellence and sometimes violence, but that's okay. Now, on to the second part of this. And again, I really appreciate you watching the show. If you ever disrespect Mama Goldberg's like that again,
You're safe. You're safer.
I'm upset. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm not really as upset as you, as Blaine has somehow found a way to insult Mama Goldberg's, Jimmy John's, and Kirk Cousins in the same paragraph.
What a great day.
I am trying to keep
that
it
all
together.
deserve to be insulted.
I'm trying to keep it together right now.
It's fine.
I'm doing a great job of it. I made a deal with God a long time ago. I'm gonna be a better person when Blaine pisses me off. Now, what happens after the cameras turn off? I don't know. That's a free-for-all. Who knows? It's always weird around here. Thanks for liking the show. Congrats on marrying an Auburn girl. Get your sandwich game together, okay? Let's get it together. Let's be better. You've made a couple good decisions. One horrible decision. One horrible decision. Just because it's Doritos and pepper jack cheese doesn't mean it still isn't delicious. Grow up, Peter Pan.
We're in the trust. We're in the trust tree, right?
We're in the trust tree, but Blaine is legitimately
one of the reasons why I really do love Mama Goldberg's, and I'll always defend it, is because I had to shoot an interview with the guy who started Mama Goldberg's.
Mr. Goldberg?
Yeah, Mr. Goldberg, but that wasn't his name. But sorry, Mama Goldberg.
It's related to Mr. Goldberg.
And he was one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Took his time. We did a 30-minute interview, put this whole thing together. And then I also like the sandwiches. I'm not saying it's the best food I've ever had.
What sandwich you get, Dave?
But you know what? I get the Mama Goldberg special.
Yeah.
Now, all these
that good.
all these nacho chips they're talking about. I don't remember the name of the sandwich.
Must have not hit that hard, huh?
Actually, the last time I had it was in Florence, I believe, with Mr.
Italy?
Richard. So they've expanded. Yeah.
You were in Italy?
Oh, it's international.
Look, I had a bunch of my buddies, do sponsored Budweiser stuff there. They go through all the bars. It's just like the atmosphere is great, stuff, but the food is just mediocre. It's mediocre food. And I mean, I don't want to sit here because Mama G's is a cool place to hang out, but the food is the definition if it's Kirk Cousins, Spider-Man, Jeff Pointy.
Well, when they call to sponsor the show, we're going to make
I'm
you.
assassin.
We're
If
gonna
they
make
call
you.
sponsor the show, I'll take back everything I said. Don't worry about it. I'll take it all back.
Blaine will come here dressed up in a Mama's Love costume.
This is
Dress
the
up that
best
goalie
sub.
for the Mighty Ducks.
He tried to get to Jersey Mike's the other day. He's like, going to get the best sub ever.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know it was Sub Sunday, so that's why we had to go to Firehouse.
Keep pushing it.
Look, I would love Jersey Mike's or Firehouse. Phew, buddy.
Look, the hook and ladder from Firehouse, I'm not
Is
gonna lie. I
top
got one
tier.
after I played in that golf tournament the other day. It absolutely sucked.
Look, the big kahuna, get a gigantic big kahuna, no mushrooms. I'm telling you, like, you want to attack the day, you get one of those at 10:30 or 11 o'clock.
I feel like you
I'm gonna have to try one of
those.
those.
No, right before red zone. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to try one of those. You want another question?
Let's go another
all
question.
because I have one-
Let's do college football power rankings tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Let's do that tomorrow. Let's
We'll
stay
do
with
that.
Mailbag.
Save that graphic,
Save
please,
that
because
graphic.
I have a question here from Evan. I figured I would go to my sports gurus to help me solve a pressing issue. I live in Colorado. I'm a huge Chicago Cubs fan. Don't tell Ben Shapiro, okay?
Yeah.
But they only play in Denver once a year. I like to go watch the Rockies play quite a bit, assuming that the Cubs are not in town, because that's when I wear my Ernie Banks throwback jersey.
Love it.
Is it okay for me to support the home team by wearing a Rockies shirt or hat? It is a personal pet peeve of mine where I see people decked out in sports gear of teams they are not playing. Yeah, that
Yeah,
they're
I
not
see what he's
playing.
saying. Evan, let me say this.
Also, he said the opening music of the show is fire.
Thank you, Evan. Appreciate you, man. Hope it's good out in Colorado. Cubs need to, need to get it moving. They need to get it moving. No, it's you are totally fine wearing Rockies gear at a Rockies game. That is totally fine. I've been to Coors Field as well. Went and saw batting practice before. One of the coolest experiences watching the ball fly in that thin air. But I'm with you. I can't stand when people wear other team stuff to other teams' games. It's like I'm watching Louisville play Florida State and somebody's got an Alabama shirt on in the crowd. What are you doing, dog? Like, what are you doing? Like, stop. Like, Evan, I'm totally cool with that. You're going to the Rockies game. You're in Colorado. Wear Rockies gear. By the way, the Rockies hat with the purple bill, black top, the mountain with the Rockies logo is one of my favorite hats that I have.
Oh, it's cool.
So,
It is cool.
Evan, that's a pet peeve of mine. I can't stand it. It's like if Kansas plays Duke in basketball and somebody's wearing a Kentucky jersey. Like, stop, man. Like, don't do that. That's a pet peeve of mine, too. I'm with it.
As long as the team isn't an arch rival of your favorite team, then yeah, support the local community. Maybe make some friends. But I want to defend the guys who wear a different jersey to a game that
You, the curmudgeon, get off my lawn's going to defend this?
Is it weird? Yes. Would I do it? No. But at the same time, when I see Alabama and Tennessee playing and someone shows up in an Auburn jersey, I'm like, you know what? That's the greatness of college football right there. That guy really, he just wants to support his team, and he's just happy to be here.
Well,
I don't have any
that guy
problem.
showed up to cause problems.
That's exactly right.
That's what that guy did.
He's an instigator.
It's every Auburn game, too. Doesn't matter who they play. They play San Jose State.
Who shows up?
Some Alabama fan shows up. And they're always got something to say.
Oh, they're out there.
Now they do.
talking.
Back when I
got
was growing up,
something
they
to
had
say.
nothing to say.
Even at the tailgate. Why are you here? Like, why? I don't care if you're for, like...
Wear a crimson polo that doesn't say, like,
That's
Alabama or
fine.
anything.
That's
Just
a little here.
That's a
and push
little
your
bit
opinions
different.
on
You're
me.
wearing an
Can I have a day?
Alabama. I guess that's.
Can I have a day as
But
a
like, if
fan?
he were to wear his Cubs jersey
I feel like
to the
baseball's
Rockies game,
No,
Baseball's
but see,
different
that's
to me.
not it. But it's the principle of it. Like, I'm going to watch the Rock. Who am I cheering for in this game? Even if I'm not cheering for somebody, if you're wearing something of a team that's playing there, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I get that. I understand that. Now, I will say, I'm with you. You know what? If you were I don't know. Let's say you're in Atlanta. You live in Atlanta and you're a Mets fan, and you wear a Mets jersey to a Braves game, I can understand that a lot more than I can
For sure.
the randomness of an Alabama shirt at a Louisville Florida State game. I can, to me, but I'm with Blaine. You know, when you wear that in there, what's probably going to happen? You're going to get trash talked. It may get physical. Somebody's going to spit in something you're eating or drinking, and your tires may or may not be flat by the time you get back. So we'll see.
Take an Uber. Take an Uber.
Every Ole Miss game.
Every Ole Miss game ever. I've been spit on every Ole Miss game I've been to.
Really?
Spit on?
Yeah, every
What
Ole
are you
Miss
doing?
Having fun.
I feel like that's kind of your. I don't even think it's because you're wearing vibes.
No.
Yeah.
Don't turn this around on me every time. I did make one time make a mistake and sit in the student section with Auburn stuff on? For sure. Was it the game where Laquan Treadwell broke his leg
Frost?
on the 1 yard line because Chris Frost somehow magically tackled him and we won?
The only tackle he ever made in his summer
Maybe
career.
that was one of the game. But the other time, just chilling, just kicking it, and got spit on. So, and what Ole Miss have fun.
Were
beating
you
mediocre.
in
Wait, I
the
thought you were
Oregon?
kinda-
Were you in the Oregon student section last week by chance? Maybe
How
Channing.
dare you?
Okay, I just.
Why don't you have an Ohio State?
I thought
jersey?
you liked it. I thought getting spit on was kind of your thing, but maybe
Apparently, it's on its
somebody else.
way.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of things, mailbag, make sure you send it. We got a ton of mailbag questions we're going to be asking them. We just need to ask them every day.
Yeah,
You want us to do it every day?
yeah. I got more here. We can
You got more
we
here?
can get
Let's
to
do-
it
let's do
tomorrow.
one more.
You want to go one more?
Let's go one more.
All right. Let's see.
It's so good when it hits your lips.
Yeah, I got one from George here. Fellas, as a disenchanted NFL fan, lifelong Giants fan to be exact, sad but true, shout out producer Justine.
Two.
How do I and others like me become a fan of college football without being a bandwagoner? Second, how does someone without a Twitter account, never going to have one, bet with the Booster Club? Surely my second fave segment, Get Off My Lawn, came for Ben, stayed for Nostradamus and Clavin, and will renew for Crane and Company.
Oh, thanks,
Love
George.
that.
Appreciate
Love
that.
that.
Congrats on
Wow.
the Giants being 2-0. Here is what I'll say about becoming a college football fan. If you haven't been a college football fan and you want to pick a team, that's fine. That doesn't make you a bandwagoner. Well, let me put it this way. If you just jump straight to Bama, okay, people are going to ask questions, but to me, to be a bandwagon, it has to be more full-throated. Like, you have to be, you're from Detroit, but you're a Bama fan in college football. You're a Warriors fan in the NBA. You're a Buccaneers fan in the NFL and a Duke fan in basketball. I don't think it can be just one sport. So don't worry about the bandwagoner thing, because you could be an enjoyer of all college football and not really have to pick a team. You can just love the sport. But you're not a bandwagoner. Again, you're a Giants fan, so I know for sure you're not a bandwagoner. That actually totally absolves you from ever being a bandwagoner as much as they've struggled. Second thing, the second question he asked about Twitter, I put it out on Facebook too. If you're on Facebook, just go to Crane and Company or Jake Crane. You'll see it. I'll put out there, or just in the YouTube chat. You can throw your stuff in the YouTube chat underneath in the comments. Your bets too there. But as somebody who listens and watches, you're already part of the Booster Club in our hearts. Now it can materialize in other ways technologically.
You're Vin Diesel of Fast and Furious. It's family.
It's about family.
George, I do want to tell you one thing right now. All right, if you're not a fan of college, welcome, because you are now an Auburn fan. War Eagle.
He likes
Welcome
Michigan.
home.
I heard.
You're the opposite of we're on the Trail of Tears right now. That's what we're doing. That's where we are. We look up. Kirby Smart's hunting. Nick Saban will never retire. But welcome home. We need all the Auburn fans we can get right now. How about Brian Harsin, right? We should fire him. We all know it.
All right. Well, I'm going to head over to the Booster.
Head over to the Booster Club.
I'm starting.
Sit down. Start it over.
All right. Hey, guys, I'm going to head over to the board of life, loss,
there it is.
Love, friends, enemies, blue, green, red,
forgiveness,
and forgiveness,
and remembrance.
And remembrance.
Yes.
Can't remember.
I'm going to remember that I forgave you, but keeping it steady.
Keep it steady. What's the Booster Club saying, Blaine?
They are saying.
They're saying
They're saying how mid Mama Jesus.
No, they're not.
Which is good.
No, they're not. You're a liar. You're just saying that.
Justin Decker called me a mid wide receiver.
You are a mid wide receiver.
So I'll see you after the show.
You're in the middle of the field.
These hands are rated E for everyone.
Who said that to you?
Justin Decker. M. Hutton wants everybody to know that Kirk Cousins is mid, which is true. Okay. Do y'all want the poll right now? Or you want to wait after bets?
Just tell me what the poll is, right?
Okay. Who is the real UT? Tennessee or Texas?
What about Temple? Are they TU or UT?
I'm not talking about Laura.
What about Tuskegee? Right. That's the real one.
Martin?
Shout out to Airmen.
UT Martin?
UT Martin. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, there it is.
There's Reed. No. Equestrian there. No. Not even close. All right, yesterday, I want to say great job, Brave Nats, getting to the first. Adam Wainwright. Stop walking, everybody, dog. Stop walking, everybody.
Yo, 1-1?
Yeah, I went 1-1.
Did it?
Adam. Rather have Eve on the mound. Anyways, give me the Brewers money line against the Mets. Brewers have lost like 5 games in a row. The Mets can't lose.
Due.
Something's got to give, right?
They're due.
To hell with trends. We'll see it.
Due.
Then give me the Astros, Rays, Nerfy. Good little pitching matchup on the mound at -150. By the way, the Brewers money line is +110. That's a dog bet. Threw out a couple sharps yesterday, fellas. Going to take San Diego State money line at home against the Toledo Rockets. Who has COVID? Okay, why are you dogs in that game? I don't understand. And then I'm taking Michigan State at home against the Golden Gophers. They're rowing the boat. Oh, we hit an iceberg. We got to get off because Minnesota just lost their best wide receiver.
Cone?
All right, 1-1 yesterday. I guess the Braves decided to give up some runs late and not win by more than one. But we're 0-0 today, so I want a double Nerfy day.
Double
Nerfy.
Nerfy.
Think about that.
Cubs,
Marlins, no runs. First inning at -155. Couple sub-4 ERAs there. I don't know who's going to be swinging the bat in the first inning. Hopefully no one, maybe a bunch of strikeouts. And then Jays, Phillies Nerfy. A little bit riskier with that one. But let's see who we have. Zach Wheeler on the mound and Gossman on the mound tonight as well.
Yep.
So
how many sinkers can I throw?
how many sinkers can we throw? And those odds are -115.
All right, 2-0 yesterday, boys. Surprise, surprise. Who would have thought? Not me. All right, give me the Mariners.
Running away with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me the Mariners versus the A's, -150. Robbie Ray on the mound. Last time I took Robbie, he walked like 3 people and gave up a tank, so I'm surprised he won't do the thing. I can't really see through Jake's head. All right, give me the Cardinals and Padres, -140 for a Nerfy. Can we get this day over? I'm trying to bet football. I went 6-0 on the weekend, then went a little 4-2. I mean, come on. Let's get some alternate
6-0
lines.
college, 4-2 NFL?
Yeah, let's get some alternate lines. Really don't need sharps anymore. What's the under in the Iowa game? And who is Georgia covering against? That's the only thing. The 2 things I need.
Look, it's not a bad theory and or strategy. I'm 24-12 overall, college football in the NFL. I've gone 8-4 each weekend. 3 weekends in a row, 8-4. Steady. Baby Cone, Cards money line plus 105. Cleveland, White Sox, Nerfy, minus 145. Like Blaine said, let's get to football. Let's do it. Even though, Cone, you have been taking some baseball bets sometimes.
Yeah.
On Monday. It's smart. They've worked out.
Well,
Stop.
it's late in the season, so I know I have a larger sample size, obviously 162 games, I would hope so. And I know that which teams are trying to make, the wild card, which teams are trying to win the division. You're going to get your best stuff from them. I mean, the thing with the White Sox to me is you have Dylan Cease, but you never give him any run support.
Yeah.
Like that guy, he hit
to amaze
on the
me.
Nerfy. It ceases to amaze me why they won't bat for Dylan Cease. But that's neither here nor
I'm
there.
proud of you for that one.
That felt good.
That did.
That
was good. That you were.
I needed
you got off the bus ready to run that play.
I put the glasses on. I started.
Well, your IQ goes up how many
stuff
points?
with my hands. We're selling like Stark technology to certain people. So.
All right, here's the Booster Club leaderboard. Hold on. Is this correct?
Yeah.
Is Bones Caudle 15-0?
I saw this on Twitter. No one was talking about
15-0.
Why did I not see this on Twitter?
I believe it. I believe. Welcome.
15-0.
All right, I'm taking whatever he's having.
I'm taking it, bud.
You want a
Congrats.
chair on the show? Goodness gracious. So keep it going. Kyle Kennedy is 8-0. Revco 250. EJ Runis are both 7-0. C. Everett is 5-0. Our boy Sammy V is 3-0. B. Sam 28. Fade him at your own risk is 2-0. Cones Laser Rocket Arms 2-0. Lava Leech and JJJJ BBB 2-3 are both 1.
That person just made a Twitter account to put bets up.
That's
If
for
you
sure.
put JJJBBB23, you just did that for just
Either that or you're
and
a robot.
I respect it. Why don't I see Blaine's mustache up here?
Yeah, he's in shock.
Figure it out.
Why don't I see Blaine's mustache on your face?
Yeah, why don't I see him right there on
It's
your
only
face?
the right time. You can't force stuff like this. Okay?
You forced it off. You lied to everybody.
It was Tom.
You lied to
The
everybody.
sands ran out in the little sand, whatever.
Look, people don't
you
forget.
can't force a mustache.
People don't
Only the
forget.
real ones know.
At
People
least
don't
tell us
forget.
you shaved with a Jeremy's razor.
Yes,
Okay,
I did.
good.
You said that a little skeptically.
Well, that's skeptical of being skeptically skeptical.
Well, why don't you skeptically read what's in the Booster Club to me right now?
All right, let's go to George
Of the Jungle?
Gladius.
Just
Hey,
say,
do you remember
say
the other
George.
day? You remember the other day when Blaine was like, I can't read this guy's handle on the show.
Yeah, let's not bring that
And I was
up.
like, what is he? He's like, I
Stretch
can't.
and Pink?
Yeah. I looked at it, I was like, dude, that says stretch
it's
and
early.
pink. It's a
It's
C, not
early.
an N.
I see a lot of different letters and words.
Becoming
It's early in the
dyslexic.
morning. That's I know.
You could read mine?
That's I'm pouring lemon juice on the back of the Declaration of Independence. So I don't really know. All right, he says linebacker / nickel and tight end was a great point.
Thank you.
It
Thank
was a
you.
great point. He says Derwin James was 10 times the player Jabril Peppers is. That's facts. They both missed the Orange Bowl, and all anybody talked about was Jabril Peppers the entire game. I don't know about that, but Derwin James is.
Derwin James picked
Top
up
two
Travis
safety in the
Kelce
NFL.
like he was a child. Derwin James isn't huge either. Let's
did
not act
do
like
that.
Derwin.
6'1".
Yeah, he's not
6'2".
a huge person. He picked up Travis Kelce
Kelce 6'5".
like he was a child that was getting disciplined, and then he disciplined him.
Yeah, he was
Even though
all
Travis-
over the field that game.
Well, there's
Anybody who needed covering.
he can do it all, man. He is the fixer. That's what he is.
I need them to make sure to do that this weekend. That'll be
Even
big.
though Jabril was pretty good.
Jabril was good. He's good at football. He did a pretty good game.
Ran fast.
It's like, I'll never forget.
Caught
Me and my
good.
uncle one time were watching. We would just watch random sports things when I was younger, and there was like some motocross or something, like somebody with motorcycles, and they like showed the race, and then they had like this panel after, and one of the guys on the panel was like a motorcycle racer, but like this guy should have never been on like television or anything like that. So they go around the table, and the guys, they're very articulate, and they go, this one guy, he's like, so what did you think about Hamilton and how he did there? He's like, well, he did a pretty good race. We're just sitting there looking at each other like, what? Anyway.
All right, let's go to
He did a good
Emmanuel
race.
C. Well, first of all, Sarah Carson wants to know, how do I write to the mailbag?
DW Crane mailbag. Tell me my ear, producer Justine. What is DW Crane? DW Crane mailbag at dailywire.com, and it's on the screen, Sarah Carson.
Felt like
That
I was
way
just
you can't be
in a Best Buy and someone turned the speaker all the way up to my ear. Geez, my ear.
But I have to, what is it? What does he say on
God?
on 40-Year-Old Virgin? He's like, if I got to hear, where am I? Oh, art thou? One more time. I'm going to burn this place down.
Emmanuel C says, I wore a Superman shirt to the Spider-Man No Way Home premiere. Is that kind of the same thing? Different jersey. You're sick.
Yeah.
You're a menace.
You're really trying to start problems.
Are you the Joker? Is this like how the Joker starts?
I
Starting to
love
start
it.
problems.
All right, Benjamin Tiller. What's up, Benjamin?
Beat Tiller.
If Tennessee is back, they need to beat and or challenge yearly for the SEC East. This means beating Florida, and Georgia. Tennessee isn't back yet. First of all, no one's beaten Georgia.
I don't think anybody.
Then they can't say they're back, right? I mean, I kind of agree.
Well, hold on.
They
were
down. In the nation
Again,
say they're not back.
When we say back, like Tennessee's won like one national championship in a long time. I'm not saying that Tennessee
dark ages.
is going to turn into Bama. What I'm saying back is that Tennessee is actually relevant. They're not a joke. They're not, oh, look how far Tennessee's fallen. Tennessee was in Nebraska of the SEC for a while, okay, the way it's been going. So when I say back, I mean not going 1-16 against Florida or like 1-15 against Bama. I'm not saying they're going to turn into this, the Mega Ranger that goes and battles the Klingons for interstellar domination. I'm saying that Tennessee is a problem again, which they are. They'll beat Florida this weekend. Now, if they go beat LSU on the road, like, then we can really start talking about something else. But we need to make sure y'all understand what I mean by back. They are back to relevance. They are back being competitive. They are back being a contender. I've got them finishing second in the East to the Globonauts in Athens.
And not having any off-the-field issues.
Exactly right.
Not
That's
perennial NCAA investigation.
That's exactly right. One more, Blaine.
Okay, let's go to, I found something that was good. All right, whatever. Let's go to, we can go to Manual C, but let's go to Cody Nason, 95. He's like, what do we think about the Bills and Dolphins? Who's better and head-to-head who you have?
Bills. I think the Bills are more physical.
I think so too, but that division's interesting now.
Here's the thing. Like, you almost have to play the Dolphins like you played the Chiefs. And I'm not just saying that because Tyreek Hill's there. You have to keep everything in front. And I know you say, all right, well, Tua's arm strength isn't the best. It's good enough. It's good enough. The problem you get into is when you start taking too many chances defensively. We're going to start to blitz and just play a ton of man, because the problem with playing two high safeties is while you can blitz, your front six and stuff like that, the risk goes up when you start blitzing more guys. To me, I'm playing two high safeties. I'm keeping everything in front. Two of y'all going to have to go 12 plays. You're going to have to go 10 to 12 plays down the field. I'm not falling for the play action, letting Tyreek or Jalen get down the field. You're going to have to throw bubbles. You're going to have to throw slants. You're going to have to throw hitches. You know the way Tyreek Hill scores a 70-yard touchdown against me, if it's me? He took a bubble screen, broke a tackle, and went for 70. Or he returned a punt for a touchdown. Same thing with Jalen Waddle. You've got to keep everything in front, and you've got to make the Dolphins earn it. I know that plays into Tua's hands. I think that's one of the reasons why they made those moves, other than obviously Tyreek Hill being really explosive, is it fits what Tua can do physically, and it keeps him out of harm's way. Why does it keep Tua out of harm's way? The quicker I get rid of the ball, the less time I get hit. I think it's all in one math problem. It's all one algorithm, but I would much rather play the Dolphins than I would the Bills, because Josh Allen is a suburban running around that can throw it. He's gotten better. He's someone off platform better. You look at the weapons they have. They have a good solid group of backs, good tight end in Knox. Stephon Diggs is from Narnia. It's just a really good situation for the Bills. Gabe Davis didn't even play, and they beat the Titans. They like pistol whipping a blind kid.
Who's the real UT? Let's go to the poll, boys.
Poll.
Who's the real UT? Texas or Tennessee?
I'm going to say the Booster Club said Texas 56%.
I think they said Texas too, 57%.
God, come on, guys. Have a pulse for the Booster Club. Disgusting. Tennessee, 53%. Texas, 47%.
I forgot. They don't like
baby.
Texas.
Yeah,
Nobody
likes Texas
does.
except Texas.
Nobody likes to. And Huddy, I'm not mid, you're mid, and so is Mama G's.
Well,
Man,
you
what's
watch your
going on
mouth.
in the chat?
Yeah,
man?
there's a lot of blaspheming. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button as well. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and other things, Snapchats, and all types of flibbly doos and dimsy
live on
don'ts.
TikTok.
We appreciate you guys. Make sure you check us out every weekday, 7:30 to 9 Eastern. That's 6:30 to 8 Central, and that is 1:45 to 3:15 in India. So make sure you check that out. Appreciate you guys, and like the chances of the Titans not disappointing me this year, we're going, gone.